We welcome you to Lawrence, Kansas, one of the great home court advantages in all of college basketball. A little over 16,000 packed inside Allen Fieldhouse. And here today, unbeaten number 2 Kansas will play host to Stanford. Hi, everybody. Welcome courtside. Happy to be with you. John Shambi alongside former White Shadow star Jay Billis. And here today, we examine the Kansas Jayhawks. And you look at number 1, yeah, it's Gonzaga right now, but Kansas, they have wins over Michigan State, a win over Tennessee. Could they be the best team in America?
They certainly can be. Gonzaga's a legit number 1 for now, but this team has the chops to be number 1 at the end of the year. They're very young at the guard spot, but they have something that very few other teams have, and that's real legitimate size inside, led by Dedrick Lawson and Udoka Azubuike. When those guys play together in a high-low set and they set this little 4-5 ball screen, it is really difficult to deal with. It always ends up in a lob or a seal down low, and Udoka Azubuike shooting 67% from the field in large measure because he gets 2 feet in the paint and buries his assignment there. What he's got to do, though, is stay out of foul trouble and stay on the floor, because when he's on the floor, Kansas is a much different and much better team.
Jay, meanwhile, for Stanford, a team you got a chance to see up close at North Carolina. Jared Hass was open about the fact he thought the moment might have been a little too big for what is a very young Stanford team. 11 of their 15 are either freshmen or sophomores, so he's going with at least a little bit more experienced group to start the game.
Yeah, keeping his freshmen on the bench so they can get a look at this place. He wants his team to be able to withstand the first 4 minutes and come out competing for the opening tap, which he doesn't believe they did at North Carolina.
De Silva able to corral the tip, and it's Stanford basketball. Dejan Davis here.
Stanford is a team that likes to drive the ball. They want to get downhill and get into the paint.
De Silva not able to hit. Good tip out by Sharma. Oscar De Silva has really struggled from 3 this year. 3 out of 22. Isaac White swings it.
Here's their best player, Casey Opala. He can really drive.
A ball fake, flips it up, won't go. And a rebound pulled down by Dedrick Lawson. Vic, step back 3. And Sharma the rebound. LeGerald Vic has been excellent to start the season for Bill Self.
Well, he's been knocking down threes at a crazy rate. He's averaging 20 a game, 4 threes per game, and there's not a hotter player from the perimeter right now in the country. Well, Udoka Azubuike on that last miss by LeGerald Vic did something very intelligent. He could have gone over the back and gone for that rebound, but he was smart in not doing it. Got caught on a switch here. Don't want to foul.
White able to bury the corner 3. Isaac White, the sophomore from Australia, able to knock it down.
He had 38 threes last year as a freshman, and anytime you got a guy that can catch and shoot, you want to make him put it on the deck.
It's a Kansas team that's back to being size-wise exactly what Bill Self likes, and that's the type of stuff that they do with their big guys.
Anytime that Kansas runs that weave action, they are looking to get a ball screen and roll to the basket with Azubuike, or get an angle in the low post. They're ultimately looking to get the ball into the paint and get the ball to the rim.
De Silva will try a 3 and not able to hit.
He is really struggling. Oscar De Silva does a lot of good things on the court, but it's been difficult for him to knock shots down. That's really affected him in his overall play on the floor. He's a good basketball player, very versatile. But right now, he is really struggling to shoot the ball.
Sophomore from Munich, Germany. Cardinal.
Well, Stanford's probing right now. They need to drive and turn a corner. Everything's 3 dribbles.
And a foul on the floor against Kansas.
Take a look at Udoka Azubuike here. When he sets this screen, he'll come set the screen and then roll to the basket. And when he does, he'll be wide open, because Sharma's got to stay with LeGerald Vic, but he's got to give a little bit of help and recover, or they've got to get a rotation over. Those are going to be dunks all game long.
But that last foul on Quentin Grimes. Pollock going to work on Grimes. Kick to the corner.
Great job by Grimes to stay in front of Akpala on that drive.
De Silva's had good looks so far in this game and hasn't been able to hit.
He's a good shooter. He can make those, but right now he is really struggling from the field.
Lawson misses. Azubuike the rebound, and they go possession arrow. It'll stay with Kansas. Well, Bill Self, of course, head coach at Kansas, 16th season, 14 straight regular season titles, and they're so tough to beat in this building.
One of the best coaches ever, in my judgment, Bill Self, has done a remarkable job here. The consistency at the highest level is stunning. Well, that was a big bucket right there for Kansas, just to get Quentin Grimes seeing the ball go through the net. He's another young man. He started out with 21 points, made 6 of 10 threes against Michigan State, but he's struggled since then. And oftentimes for a young player, even though he's doing a really good job early on against Akpala defensively, guys need to see the ball go through the net to feel good about themselves, especially when they're young.
Well, Dejan Davis, the sophomore from Seattle, feels good as that one goes through the net. And Stanford with a 1-point advantage. Azubuike flips it up and one. They'll go to the line.
Well, Josh Sharma is 7 foot tall and a senior. He knows how to play, but it doesn't matter. Once the ball gets this low and there's not double coverage, he just pushes, Azubuike just pushes Sharma down under the basket, has 2 feet in the paint. You are not going to stop that. The only way you can stop him is if you foul him first and send him to the line where he shoots under 40%. Now, one area where Stanford has an issue is Stanford only has 3 players that are over 210 pounds. This is not a big team. They're long and they're tall in certain spots, but they're not big.
Rebound pulled down in that spot by Trevor Stanback, who's into the game.
Stanford trying to work the ball to get it to the second and third side of the floor where they feel they can get something done. Good pass on the roll.
Good ball movement. White. And a foul on the floor. And they get that one on Devon Dotson. In the early going, Kansas at home, and they're up a point.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Phillips 66, proud sponsor of Big 12 basketball, and Outback Steakhouse, Aussie rules.
This back here inside Allen Fieldhouse, and look at some of the banners that hang here. Of course, Jared Haas started his college career at Cal and then moved on to play for Roy Williams here at Kansas.
Was a great player here. Scored over 1,200 points in his career. Had 167 floor burns. I had 162, but they were from falling down, not diving.
And a book to boot. There's that weave action you talked about. Vic flips inside as a Azubuike ball fake, and he'll go to the line and shoot 2. Jared Haas, who's a longtime assistant at Kansas, then North Carolina, and went as the head guy at UAB. 3rd season as Stanford head coach. Went to the NIT last year. They haven't been to the NCAA tournament since 2014.
Where Stanford beat Kansas in the 2014 NCAA tournament, went to the Sweet 16.
We get a chance to check out some of the pictures and some of the basketballs. There's his book you mentioned, and there we are reading it.
Got a free copy. Actually, it's me reading it to you.
That's right.
Story Time with John Sciambi.
Yep.
It's actually a very interesting book, Floor Burns.
Uncle Jay, will you read to me again? It's usually how the prep week starts with the notes, and we just kind of go for it.
Boy, De Silva was trying to take Dedrick Lawson off the dribble. He should have just tried to go all the way to the rim. Stanford needs to turn the corner on these drives. If they're getting down to the end of a shot clock and have gotten nothing out of this action.
Shot clock is at 3. Here's Davis. Jumps into Azubuike, gets the foul.
See, that's one of the fouls that Azubuike needs to avoid. Get a hand up, make him take a tough shot over you. But Azubuike out on the perimeter cannot be the first one to leave the floor. And that was a bailout. Terrific play by Dejan Davis to get him into the air, but that was a bailout. Right now, Azubuike's averaging about 4 fouls per game. He's only fouled out once, but he's been close to fouling out a number of times.
I don't love that play. I'm not going to lie to you. I know people have different opinions, but you see it a little bit less. They try and curtail it, but I just don't feel like it's a basketball play that what the intent is to draw a foul.
Yeah, but there's nothing wrong. I don't think there's anything wrong in my judgment with trying to draw a foul. The question is, was it a foul? If he jumped into him, if Azubuike was going past him and he jumped sideways into him, I'd say no foul.
And that one will go the other way as they get that on Quentin Grimes. That's his second.
And those are unnecessary fouls as well. That Quentin Grimes is just a freshman. He's done such a good job defensively when he was guarding Akpala.
And Marcus Garrett, outstanding defender, checks into the game. The sophomore from Dallas.
A 2-3 set for Stanford, trying to lift up this Kansas defense. And Kansas done a really nice job extending.
Cormac Ryan and Bryce Wills, 2 prize freshmen, have checked in. And Jaden Dallaire, another freshman, missing that 3-pointer.
Everything has been from the perimeter right now for Stanford. A team that likes to drive the ball has not turned the corner to drive at all. Stanford 1 of 7 from 3, including 1 of 3 from 3 for Oscar Da Silva. That makes Da Silva now in the season 3 of 24 from 3-point range.
Well, remember, they opened the season with a big win against Seattle. In that game, they went 11 of 15. Since that game, they've gone 21 of 100 into today. I can do that math. That's 21%. No. Put back there, and Lawson. Dedrick Lawson with the bucket and the foul.
Out of bounds underneath. Kansas just ran a little flex action. That was the flex cut with Lawson getting underneath. They couldn't elevate to get over the top, but just offensive rebounding with he and Mitch Lightfoot. And one Stanford player fell down during that exchange, so they were man down. But that's where I think Kansas can really hurt Stanford, is inside and on the glass. Kansas has to keep pounding the ball into the paint. And Stanford has to figure out a way to drive the ball into the paint, turn the corner. Look how far out they're starting their offense. And now passes are longer, drives are longer. It's multiple dribbles to get into the paint.
Davis gets inside, flips it up. And the rebound pulled away by Dedrick Lawson, who's coming off 24 and 13 in that preseason NIT win over Tennessee. He's charged with the offensive foul there, however. Now, how about some football coming your way? The 14th annual Dr. Pepper ACC Championship game. That's tonight between Pitt and number 2 Clemson. And it comes your way in Charlotte from Bank of America Stadium. A spot in the college football playoff on the line for Dabo Swinney and the Tigers. Clemson and Pitt, Dr. Pepper ACC Championship. Hey, new football coach for Kansas, Les Miles, in the house. He won a national title back in 2007, and he'll join us in the second half courtside.
Can't wait to ask him how the grass tastes in Lawrence, Kansas. You have to think that even Clemson, if Clemson were to lose to Pittsburgh in the ACC Championship game, Clemson still makes the playoff.
I would think.
I think even if Alabama and Clemson were to lose, they make the playoff. I don't see how that would be held against them if other teams would get to lose earlier and get in. That wouldn't make any sense to me at all.
Yeah, there is a funny element to when you lose as opposed to if you lose. Last foul on Charlie Moore for the sophomore, his first. That's 16 fouls now on Kansas.
Charlie Moore has a lot in common with Jared Haase. He played 1 year at Cal, transferred to Kansas.
Quarter 3 in and out for KZ Akpala.
Akpala having some difficult assignments, getting guarded by Marcus Garrett, and also by Quentin Grimes to start the game. And he's found it difficult. Got a switch here. He's found it difficult against the better opponents that Stanford has played to put up big numbers.
Garrett turns the corner, shot block. Well done by Akpala.
Shows you his length, athleticism, and his ability to move his feet.
Willis gets inside, offensive foul, as Mitch Lightfoot was able to stand his position.
KZ Akpala is, by a fair margin, the best pro prospect on this Stanford team, and he did a good job of staying on the side of Garrett and not fouling him. Garrett tried to turn the corner on him, and rather than throw his chest into him and say, oh, I'm beat, he didn't foul, and he relied on him, making him make it tough too, and was able not just to make it difficult, but to block it.
One of those guys, he's a big player at 6'9", 215, but he entered high school at 5'10", and then really hit that growth spurt. So already had the coordination intact at that point. He is a talented player.
And he does a great job of getting fouled. He can put the ball on the deck. He's going to, I think, become a better shooter. He can shoot it, but I think he'll become a much better shooter as he gets older.
Lucas Kasunas has checked into the game for Stanford. Cormac Ryan draws the foul from Charlie Moore. Kansas by a point here in the early going in Lawrence.
We move ahead in our action.
And now it's Davis and a 3-point deficit for the Cardinal.
But Devon Dotson is a terrific player, and he's going to be a great college player. That play he made against Tennessee late in the game, the 3-point play where he went down, hit the stanchion, got up, and still was able to make that free throw, was big time.
Nice move there by Stanford freshman Cormac Ryan. New York City kid, he and Bryce Wills playing AAU ball together. They've known each other for a while.
And Cormac Ryan is a big-time shooter, but he's only made one of his last 12 from 3. Shuffle cut, screen for the screener action out of the box set for Kansas.
Lawson inside, and they get the foul. KZ Akpala. Well, folks, tomorrow 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific on ESPN. You got #1 Notre Dame taking on #2 UConn. It's the Women's Jimmy V Classic in South Bend. And who knows, maybe it'll be an instant classic. You can watch it on the ESPN app everywhere.
Well, UConn's won 121 straight regular season games. And behind Nafisa Collier and Katie Lou Samuelson, they are so good. But I think actually Notre Dame is better. I mean, Notre Dame just came off a big win over Iowa, and Enrique Gumbawali had 30. You know, the hero of last year's NCAA tournament. And that's going to be a great game.
Cody Pugh had a great opportunity to get a bucket, was contested, and then in the end, Vic not able to save. So Stanford basketball 1-point game. John Shambi, Jay Billis here in Lawrence.
Really good job on the hard hedge by Mitch Lightfoot.
Inside, Davis flips it up, and it wouldn't go.
Well, those are tough twos that Stanford is trying to make right now. We've got to give credit to the Kansas defense, but Kansas offense needs to get a little bit better.
Sharma rejects LaGerald Vick.
No, not one pass was made on that possession for Kansas.
And then a 3 knockdown by Dejon Davis, our 8th lead change, and Davis has 10.
All right, Jared Haas has to be really happy that his team was able to weather the opening minutes of this game, because they were basically knocked out early, both against Florida and at North Carolina. And to play a big-time opponent like Kansas in Allen Fieldhouse and have a lead early is pretty impressive.
Tied at 17, under 8 to go here in that first half.
Wow, this is the 3rd different defender he's had on him. Grimes, Garrett, now Vick.
Davis step back. Flying in is Pugh for the offensive rebound. Put back wouldn't go, loss of the board. That's his 7th for Dedrick Lawson. Sharma the intercept. And Stanford back the other way. Kansas draws the foul.
Kansas has not been efficient at all on the offensive end. Bill Self has to be frustrated.
Back here in Lawrence and inside Allen Fieldhouse, and of course one of the things on display, the original rules of basketball. Dr. James Naismith and I mean, so much history here. There's a guy, Ted Owens, a former Kansas head coach. He recruited you, Jay Billis.
He did. He had a blind spot in recruiting, at least that one. But Ted Owens, one of the great coaches in this game, and one of the great Kansas head coaches. He's here not only to watch the Jayhawks, but there's a reunion of his 1966 Kansas Jayhawk team that was led by Walt Wesley and JoJo White, and I'm sure you remember who that team was beaten by in the NCAA tournament. They lost to Texas Western, Don Haskins, and his team that ultimately won the national championship in Cole Fieldhouse at Maryland against Kentucky, and Adolph Rupp and Pat Riley, Louis Dampier, Larry Conley. But Ted Owens, one of the, not only a great coach, but one of the great gentlemen in the game. And when you look at the great coaches here at Kansas, Ted Owens, Larry Brown, Roy Williams, Bill Self, the winning, I mean, the guy that invented the game was the only coach at Kansas that didn't have a winning record. James Naismith didn't have a winning record.
Yeah.
What did he know about basketball? He just invented it.
That's right. Just started it. What was the line that Bill Walton, or the exchange you had with Bill Walton, if he asked you if you know, it's probably before your time?
I did a game with Bill Walton. We were doing Arizona, Colorado, and he started talking about Ted Owens. And he said, Jay, you're too young to know who Ted Owens was. And I said, I know Ted Owens. He recruited me. And then he said, for what?
Well played, Bill Walton.
He was probably right, sadly.
Garrett handoff here. Grimes picked up early couple of fouls, kicks to the corner, and KJ Lawson. Now Grimes a hoist. And KJ Lawson a rebound. Dotson picks a spot and then kicks out. Stanford by a point. John Shambi, Jay Billis here in Lawrence, Kansas. And a nice move, flipping it up and in is Dedrick Lawson. He's got 9. And along with that, 8 rebounds. Even though that was a longer possession for Kansas, I know they want to play a little bit faster, get more layups. That was really good pace. And once they got the ball inside, you can't speed up Dedrick Lawson. He is such a good player. Now watch when Lawson gets the ball. He can catch it off the lane. He got a little duck in there, catches it off the lane, quick spin, turns back, doesn't get a double. And that's just easy basketball. He makes it look so easy. He's not a great leaper. He's not going to jump over. He's not going to run past you. He's going to do it by changing speeds, and because he is so skilled, long, and just understands how to play the game. Grimes toss inside. Will Silva get a piece of that? Stanford doing a little bit of switching on exchanges. Inside, nice move up and under Dedrick Lawson. Just got right underneath the arm of Oscar da Silva. Just keeping him off balance with those. You know, somehow when it's said that you're not a superior athlete, Dedrick Lawson is a really good athlete, but he's not what you call this superior run and jump athlete. They say old man game, but that's a compliment. Like, he's got an old man game because he's skilled and he knows how to play. He's really good. He's already got he's got double figures, almost double figure rebounds. He does. He has almost a double-double. Isaac White able to knock down that 3. That's his second 3. Then he's got 6. Jay, Kansas early this season, they shot the 3 really well. Don't have one here today. Well, Kansas has not played its best offensive game. That's not a good shot right there by Marcus Garrett. He is not a good shooter, and that was... And a travel, that's a turnover. Kansas 0 for 4 from 3 coming in. 44% in the top 10 in the country in three-point shooting for the Kansas Jayhawks. Yeah, but that's mostly LeGerald Vick, frankly. Like, LeGerald Vick has got over half their threes. Did you say they came in with 44, and he's got 21 or 22? And he's shooting like 57% from three-point range. So he's carrying a lot of that load, and right now LeGerald Vick hasn't been able to find an open look. He's got to be aggressive looking for it. Lawson on Sharma. That'll go. He wanted the foul. 13 points for Dedrick Lawson, having a really nice first half. Kansas just going isolation in the post to get the ball to the hot hand being Dedrick Lawson, and he is delivering. There's Vick with the steal. And then Vick, no call, ball out of bounds. Kip Kissinger and Mike Greenstein. Both of them kind of shrugging at each other.
That's a tough thing for the officials to call. He probably was fouled, but because of the steal, they were behind the play. So you can't expect the officials to be everywhere.
Lawson off the mark. Rebound Davis.
Stanford has the pace that it wants. Boy, Akpala's got Dotson on him. He's got to do something about that. Take him down into the post.
Isaac White knocks down another. It's his third. He has 9, and it's Stanford by a point. Timeout on the court. And how about the road team, the Cardinal, up on Kansas. Wow, separate them.
I don't think any team's going to go undefeated. The question is whether Nevada can beat the Austin Toros. Remember when everybody was talking about Duke beating the Cleveland Cavaliers?
That's right.
You know, like, basketball is not a sport where teams go undefeated. It's just those days, I believe, are over because you're playing more people now. It's a totally different deal. And the three-point shot has made it even harder. But right now, Kansas is not trailing in this game because of their defense. I mean, their defense has been pretty good, especially their first shot defense. Stanford's only shooting 33%. Well, their defense wasn't very good there, but Stanford's only shooting 33%. They've got 6-7 turnovers, but Kansas's offense has really been poor.
Dotson. And now Dedrick Lawson a 3. That's too strong. Rebound Dejon Davis. They still haven't hit a 3. 0 for 5 now. White will try another. And the rebound pulled down by Dedrick Lawson. He's got 9 rebounds.
He's going one-on-one in the post. Probably should have taken that right there. You can't pick your dribble up in the coffin corner.
And now here's Moore. Grimes will fire.
That's one of the reasons Quentin Grimes is struggling. That was a challenge shot that wasn't really in any kind of rhythm. And Stanford right now has the tempo of the game in its favor. And now it's making better cuts. They're starting to turn the corner a little bit more. And that's all without KZ Okpala having scored. Now take a look right now on this high pick and roll. And Sharma's going to roll. He's got to be picked up by LeGerald Vick, but Vick never picked him up. He just kind of gave a look and then ran out to his man. He's got to take a stand in there and sort of bump Sharma off that cut and allow his defender to catch up. Dedrick Lawson.
KZ Okpala at the line, the 6'9" sophomore, good free throw shooter at 81%.
Well, this is where he's going to live this year, is at the free throw line. He shoots a ton of free throws, over 7 per game. I think the key for KZ Okpala is being more aggressive to score. It's not that he doesn't look to score. He's averaging 16, 17 points a game. But he could be averaging over 20.
They just got Grimes for his 3rd.
Wow. Boy, it's not often you pick up a rebounding foul out of that 3rd slot. That's unusual.
So how about this? 2:25 to go. And it is Stanford by 5 here in Lawrence. Number 2 team in the country down at home. John Shambi, Jay Billis with you.
Good back cut by Devon Dotson.
Vick pull-up jumper. Got it.
He's been quiet for too long. And that's the guy that's got to heat up from the perimeter.
Back to that Quentin Grimes situation. It was not a foul. It was in the lane too early, so he's only got 2 fouls. There's Sharma again, all alone, and throws it down. His 2nd dunk. He's got 5 points.
Everybody on the weak side hugging up to their man, and nobody in help side position. And Kansas needs to show strong help against this team because they attack the rim. And I know Bill Self after the all the scouting they did after a tough game against Tennessee. He's got to be disappointed that the Jayhawks didn't come out with a little more fire defensively in this one, and offensively especially. And it's starting to hit him on the defensive end the last few possessions. They're getting spread out.
Cormac Ryan. That one rattles out. And the rebound by Dotson.
Yeah, you know, guards going to the rim there.
Dotson. Count the basket. Devon Dotson. He's got 4. Bill Self just raves about Dotson's toughness.
Take a look at Sharma here. They're going to set a little screen roll and go to the basket. And when he does, watch the weak side opposite the ball. Everybody, nobody's seeing the ball. Everybody looking at their man. And all of a sudden, Stanford's playing 2-on-2 on a side. And it should be 2-on-5. You know, you guard ball screens not with the 2 guys involved in the ball screen. You guard ball screens with all 5 defenders. Kansas did not do it on that occasion, and Stanford absolutely made the Jayhawks pay. That's just really good offense by Stanford. Poor defense by Kansas.
Corner 3, knocked down there. Isaac White. He's hit 4 3-pointers and has a dozen.
Well, the question is, how many times has he had to dribble the ball when he's caught it? And the answer is not very many. And catch and shoot, he's going to knock those down.
KJ Lawson flies in. And a foul called.
Probably on Ryan, I would expect.
Stanford foul number 23, Cormac Ryan.
It'll be on Cormac Ryan. His second foul.
I thought Sharma got hurt when he goaltended that shot and went out of bounds. Not sure whether he hit. I thought this was the play. After he goaltended it, he went out of bounds to hit the stanchion, and that's when I thought yeah, there it is. He somehow got hurt there. He grabbed his arm, but I couldn't tell exactly what he hit.
Solid diagnosis there, Dr. Billis.
Well, I don't know what happened. I just know how it happened.
Inspector Billis.
Lightfoot returns for Kansas, replacing Dedrick Lawson.
Did you know that Josh Sharma was a soccer goalie growing up?
Wow, and that ended how long ago?
Probably when he hit 7 feet.
Yeah.
I realized that basketball was going to give him a scholarship to Stanford. Both his parents are PhDs, so he's pretty darn smart.
There's no question. Stanford by 4.
All this for the steakhouse bacon cheeseburger?
The smoky black pepper mayo deserve at least a full steakhouse treatment.
Very impressed.
Someone just walked in. We only have 1 tablecloth.
The Steakhouse Burger and Tots for only $4.99. Get them now and try order ahead to get happy hour any.
Back here in Lawrence, and some games that can be seen on ESPN Plus, including Wofford in Kansas, South Dakota. We'll take on Kansas. You can check out Eastern Michigan and Kansas, all available on ESPN Plus, which is awesome.
Wofford just beat South Carolina, beat them by 20. They've got a great shooter named Fletcher McGee. And Eastern Michigan, when Kansas plays Eastern Michigan, they're going to face nothing but zone. That's all Eastern Michigan really plays in the half court is 2-3 zone.
Wofford was supposed to play at Stanford, had the game canceled due to the air quality from the wildfires in the area. That was prior to Thanksgiving, the week before Thanksgiving. Toss inside, De Silva off the window and good.
Boy, that could have been a 3-point play.
First 2 for De Silva. And how do you like that? Stanford on the road leading number 2 by 6. Time now to send it to Chris Cotter, Seth Greenberg, and Chris Spatola in the studio. Back here in Lawrence and from Allen Fieldhouse at the break, number 2 Kansas trailing Stanford 35-29. So the number 2 team in the country trailing at the half. The last time they trailed at the break against a non-conference team, January of 2016, that was against Kentucky. And meanwhile, for this season, this is the 3rd straight game that Kansas has trailed at the half. John Shambi, Jay Billis with you. All right, so Stanford, they hung in there really right from the start, and Jay did it inside and outside offensively.
Yeah, they got a good boost from Josh Sharma, who had 2 steals, 2 blocks, and on the defensive side, he was when he was in there, did a pretty darn good job of protecting the rim with those 2 blocks and some challenges. And then they went screen roll and spread the floor, and he got a couple of scores off of that. And then Isaac White, the sophomore, made 38 threes last year, was 4 of 6 from three-point range. Most of them were catch and shoot, but when his man fell down and went under, he's able to hit that one off the dribble. You know, Stanford shot 40% in the first half, but really the issue for Kansas was poor offense. Kansas shot 40%. Dedrick Lawson scored 13 points. He was 5 of 9 from the field. The rest of the team, 7 of 21. That's 33%. They only scored 16 points. And for a team in Kansas that has 17 assists per game, Kansas had 1 assist in the first half. That shows you the ball wasn't moving. Players weren't moving. They weren't sharing it. And they weren't good at all offensively. Give us Stanford credit for that.
Yeah, I think that underlines the lack of offensive flow for Kansas. And again, Stanford deserves some credit. Here's Akpala inside, flips it up and in. KZ Akpala with 4 points. He was quiet in the first half, and Stanford was able to ratchet up that lead. Now it's 8.
That's his first bucket. He had 2 free throws in the first half. Was well defended. And Kansas immediately going deep inside. That was a foul that Sharma put his arms right into Azubuike and pushed him. Just wasn't called. You know, when you're as big as Azubuike, you know, big guys oftentimes, especially when they're that big, you get pushed and they don't call it.
Sharma, point blank, and then tip. Isaac White able to save. And Sharma puts it in.
Boy, Stanford's just tougher than Kansas right now. Dedrick Lawson had that ball and could not grab it. And Kansas actually, while Stanford looks engaged, Kansas looks like they're sleepwalking.
Azubuike, offensive rebound, and then puts it home.
Boy, who would have thought, you know, after going to Atlantis, getting beaten by Wisconsin and getting beaten badly by Florida, that Stanford would have been up 10 early in the second half in Allen Fieldhouse. That's remarkable.
That last foul on Devon Dotson, his 3rd. Well, there is Jared Hass's family, his wife Mindy, their kids Garrett, Gavin, Gabby somewhere around there, right?
It's nothing but a G thing.
Oh. You asked him to tell you the story. It was a pretty good one.
It was a good one.
Shot clock winding down. Akpala. Offensive rebound and a putback.
Just stronger. Akpala just pushed Azubuike out of the way. And when you're that big and strong, the Kansas argument would be that shouldn't happen.
Lawson inside. Now Grimes will fire.
Well, he just needs something to go down. Quentin Grimes is a really talented player. But Bill Self said he's just, confidence-wise, he's just been paralyzed of late. After that great start he got off to against Michigan State, where he was magnificent.
Nice move to Silva. Timeout Kansas. The lead is a dozen. Biggest of the game for Stanford on the road and leading number 2. Good start to the second half for the road team. Stanford leading 8-2 in that bucket right there. As the Silva gets inside and flips it in. And how about the Hass family? Mom loving it. And the kids say, calm down, Mom. Just calm down.
Indy Haas.
No kissing.
With the kiss. Rejected.
Lawson inside.
That's where the length of Stanford, just an isolation play at the elbow for Dedrick Lawson. And the length of Stanford at the rim just bothered him. Couldn't elevate to get over it. And Stanford right now look what Stanford running their offense right at the three-point line. They're in an operating area now.
The Silva still not able to hit. Azubuike the board.
So the pressure from Kansas has subsided from where it started, where Stanford couldn't really run anything. Now they're running basically whatever they want. Got to switch.
Lawson gets inside. stumbled a bit, flipped it to the side of the rim. And it's Stanford with the rebound, and they go the other way.
Lawson just doesn't have that quick first step to get by. That should be a one dribble drive into the paint instead of two.
And the block, Diedrich Lawson. So that'll be number 2 on the big guy.
That was the block and tackle. He went right at his legs. They fell down. And see, watch, Lawson just goes down. That was a textbook tackle.
Yep. Kansas 1 for 6 since the break.
And Stanford's defended well, but I don't think Bill Self would argue they've defended that well. I think he would blame poor offense. His team has not performed well at the offensive end. Not a good shot.
And then Sharma flies in and commits the foul. That's his second.
You know, John, when I say not a good shot there by KZ Okpala, it's not that he can hit that shot. It's just at that point, I would move the ball and then drive it. That's what the Stanford team has been doing so well in this game. Continue that. The horn set right now up top and high-low. Good job by Davis to force that, extend that pass so they couldn't get it in to Azubuike right away.
Vic, left side 3, gets it to go.
That's the guy right there. LeGerald Vic needs to heat up in this second half for Kansas to win this game.
And there's the steal, Azubuike. Now Dotson. Dotson hangs, and he's fouled. Defense leading to some offense, and the crowd has come to life here at Allen. Coming up tomorrow, and you see UConn leading the all-time series by a bunch, but obviously last year in the Final Four, Notre Dame with that win. It's quite a rivalry that has turned into.
Well, Notre Dame over the last several years under Muffet McGraw has beaten UConn and Gino Auriemma more than all other Division I teams combined. And with all the injuries that Notre Dame had last year, to be able to win the national championship was remarkable. Now everybody's back healthy, including Brianna Turner, who was out all last year with that knee injury, and she just is coming off a double-double. She had 14 points and 11 rebounds against Iowa. She's going to be a key if Notre Dame's going to beat UConn, because UConn is still formidable. They might have lost Gabby Williams and Kia Nurse, but they are still formidable. Great steal by Dotson.
Dotson pushes. Lawson lost the handle. Dotson takes it back. Vic a 3. Got it! Les Miles liking it. Doesn't take a lot to get this place going.
So little energy to start the second half, but Devon Dotson, the freshman from Charlotte, North Carolina, has injected a lot of energy into this team since that timeout. But De Silva is really struggling.
Lawson inside. Rattles it home. Diedrich Lawson with 2 more. It's a 9-0 Kansas run. Lawson with 15. And he's got 10 rebounds to go along with it. A 3-point game here at Allen Fieldhouse.
Well, give credit to Devon Dotson. Right here, after he got that amazing steal, gets the ball back after Diedrich Lawson turns it over and has the presence of mind to find a wide-open 3-point shooter. And here's that old man game going one-on-one in the post. Jared Haas choosing not to double-team Diedrich Lawson down in the post. And Lawson has 15 points, 10 rebounds in this one. But really the key to this second half run has been the guards. And the guards were not good for Kansas in the first half. Not good at all. And in the second half, LeGerald Vic, a couple of threes. No made threes for Kansas in the first half. LeGerald Vic has 2 in the second. And Devon Dotson has heated up and has injected a lot of energy in this Kansas team with his play.
Josh Sharma picking up his 3rd foul. He is their lone senior. And right now, Dejon Davis out there handling.
There's that 2-1-2 set to try to spread the floor a bit.
And a big three right there, Cormac Ryan.
There are two guys that you cannot let catch and shoot. Cormac Ryan is one, even though he had struggled a bit coming into this game. He is a really good shooter. And then Isaac White is the other one. That's what they do. They are shooters.
Lawson inside. Couldn't quite get it to go, and Stanford the board.
He just doesn't elevate when he gets toward the rim. And this is not a knock. He's a below-the-rim player. But when he gets there and needs to finish, it's just that lack of elevation that was a problem. But man, he's a good player, isn't he?
Really good. Just super skilled around the basket. That has shown it here today. Stanford, though, up by 6, and the Haas family loving it as they look on.
You have to think that with Stan back in the game, that Kansas is going to try to get Azubuike a look inside. He'll try to move him up the lane, get a lob.
Vic able to turn the corner, and Azubuike throws it down.
That's exactly what Kansas was looking for. That was an offensive rebound, but might as well have been allowed. Stanback comes over to block the shot. Got to stay on your feet there.
And Akpala answers with a big three. He's got 9.
It was just not a disciplined defensive possession for Kansas, but a terrific one for Stanford. What a rebound by Akpala. That was above the rim.
It's his 8th of the game, KZ Akpala.
Well, that was quite an answer for Stanford out of the timeout when it had been cut to 1 possession.
Cormac Ryan gets the shooter's roll. He's got 10 points. And all of a sudden, it's back to a 10-point lead for Stanford. Jay, you got to give Stanford a lot of credit for the fact that once Kansas made that run, they didn't just crawl up into a little bit of a ball, you know?
They cut it to Kansas cut it to 1 possession, timeout, and then Stanford comes out of the timeout and reels off 3 really good possessions. And you know, Kansas is a better team. Yeah. They're playing at home, but I'm really impressed with the way Stanford has come in here and handled themselves, because in games like at North Carolina, where Jared Haas admitted the moment was too big for his young team. Then they go down to Atlantis, where you and Dan Dockich got a chance to see them play. They lose and didn't really have a chance to win against Wisconsin. They got kind of handled, and then they got manhandled by Florida. Now look, Dejon Davis rolled his ankle, went out of the game early, didn't really play in that one. But they only had 13 points in the first half, got run out of that building. And they have performed at a really high level, especially in the second half.
They're one of the younger teams in the country. Jared Haas made it clear. He said they want to be coached. It's just that little bit of give and take in terms of, okay, you want to be coached, but are you going to do the things to make changes is one of the aspects that he talked about. And that one off Kansas, out of bounds. It'll be Stanford basketball. 8th turnover on Bill Self's team.
This little box set trying to exploit the overplay, go out to the wing and then step and go, and they wind up throwing the ball out of bounds. Too many empty possessions throughout this game for Kansas. And right now they are chasing on defense.
Akpala, lob, and the dunk as they got Stanback for the throwdown.
A really smart play by Stanford. And turnover.
Wow, Dotson
Kansas turns it over.
Inbounding the basketball, stepped over the line.
With no defense on it. Drawing Azubuike over to try to block the shot and just lobbing it up. That's what Kentucky likes to do most of the time when they make that kind of drive. Really smart play by Kansas.
Ryan catch and shoot. And Azubuike the rebound. The lead is a dozen.
Well, the Jayhawks just stagnant offensively.
Lawson inside, and he gets fouled. Dedrick Lawson will shoot 2 when we return. And as well, coming up, we'll visit with the new head football coach of the Kansas Jayhawks, Les Miles. Well, new head football coach here at Kansas, Les Miles. Of course, success at Oklahoma State from 2001 through 2004. Then went on to LSU, won the national title in 2007. And here he is, the new head football coach, announced November 18th of 2018. Joins us courtside. How's this been for you so far, Les Miles?
Oh, it's been fast and furious, trying to put together a staff and recruiting at the same time. But it's been a lot of fun.
You've taken over programs before, but this has to be the biggest challenge. In building a new program, what's the most important first step?
First step, you must hire a quality staff. You get guys on campus, and they're going to do the things that they've always done. So if they're quality, that's positive repeated. And if they're not, that's negative repeated. So you have to get a great staff, and then you have to recruit. You got to make something out of the first recruiting class as best you can.
How much does it at times feel like, wow, there aren't enough hours in the day to accomplish all the stuff I need to get done?
Every day. That's every day. You just need a little more time at the end of the day to get it done. So,
what excites you about this opportunity?
Well, to do something that maybe has not been done, or it's certainly not easy to do. And I've always enjoyed challenges, and I think the president and Jeff Long, the AD, are people that want to compete for championships, and that's really what I look for.
This right here, this place is one of the most special places in the country to watch a college basketball game. Do you allow yourself to fantasize what it would be like to get this type of atmosphere and crowd for football?
All they'd have to do is bring two friends and bring them over to the stadium, and we would enjoy. It'd be the kind of venue and the kind of backdrop that you'd want. This is spectacular. This is Allen Arena. Everybody knows about it. Allen Fieldhouse. Everybody knows about it. It's special.
Well, when you watch Kansas basketball play, you have to salivate when you see Udoka Azubuike. You think you can make a football player out of him?
No question. If Coach Self would give me a guy, just give me a guy, I would set the NC2A record for touchdown passes, because I'd send him into the end zone and tell him to post up. So,
Ryan from the corner.
Oh, what a rebound by Standback.
Rebound by Standback. Delaire missed everything.
I'm going to tell you something. Both teams are playing defense, and that's why this is a heck of a ball game.
I agree.
Vic feed inside. Lawson finds Azubuike.
Oh, my God, it's cool.
Yeah, you are.
Okay.
We're not. You are.
Allen Fieldhouse is rocking.
You're exactly right. There's vibrations in the chairs.
Coach, I got to ask you, where did the grass chewing thing come from?
Hey, you know what? I had always, and I mean always, as a kid, a kid would occasionally be in right field, you know what I mean? And I needed something to do. Didn't know I was hitting the ball out there, right? Okay, so I tasted a piece of grass, and it happened to be caught in an Alabama game and on 4th down, and it's been with me ever since. So. I do it all the time.
Bill Self wanted to catch me.
It worked.
Bill Self wanted to travel there. John Higgins said, no, it's a foul. Sharma give off. Under 10 minutes to go, second half. Stanford with the lead. Cormac Ryan give off.
Much better pressure on the ball from Kansas.
Inside Davis. Offensive rebound, Stanford. Akpala, huge three. Wow.
It never fails, John. After an offensive rebound, best time to shoot a three, and Stanford took advantage of it.
Azubuike might have been a little fortunate that they didn't call the offensive foul there. John Shelby, Jay Billis, head football coach of the Kansas Jayhawks, Les Miles joining us courtside. And the number 2 Jayhawks with their hands full here at Allen Fieldhouse. And if that's on Sharma, it's his 4th. And indeed, it is. Coach, this your first time in here?
Very first.
Wow. I mean, it is as special a place in terms of sport that you will come to watch any type of event.
Yeah, there's no question. The people here love their team. They're going to stand. That student section stands the entire time. And decibels, if you're matching decibels, this is one of the loudest arenas in America.
Dotson high out the window, and it goes. And it's a 5-point game.
Devon Dotson is a stud. He's going to be a great player.
Akpala and 1.
Well, that was a great answer by Stanford. Anytime Stanford dribbles at you on the wing, it's going to be a backdoor cut. And a terrific backdoor cut by Akpala, and fouled from behind by Vic. And Mindy Haas and her 3 children seem to love it.
Taking in the road game, a place that Jared Hess used to call home. Now the head coach at Stanford, and Akpala converts the 3-point play. Stanford up by 8. We close in on the 8-minute mark.
Well, Stanford has had an answer every time that Kansas has threatened in the second half.
A young Stanford team. It's been very impressive. Here's Moore getting inside, gives off Lawson, had it blocked, and then gets fouled. Dedrick Lawson set to go to the line, and he will shoot 2. Les Miles, thanks so much for stopping by. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Coach.
Good luck seeing you guys.
Kansas and Stanford locked up in a good one. There's the coach cheering him on.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Phillips 66, proud sponsor of Big 12 basketball.
Here at Allen Fieldhouse, 8 to go, and it's Stanford by that many. 8. Jared Hess trying to pull off a major upset. How about this? Last 20 seasons, Stanford, the only team besides Kansas to be over 500 against top 2 AP teams.
Really remarkable.
Yeah.
That's an amazing record against the top 2. First of all, you don't get that many chances to play against the top 2, and usually they're pretty good.
More quality analysis from Jay Billis to the under 4 mark.
That's what makes me in the business.
The top 2, they're good.
Usually I don't get called out on my obvious comments.
I apologize.
Dejon Davis has been very good in this game. He's been a presence at the point guard position, and he's a young player, but I think oftentimes you're asking which Dejon is going to show up in any given game. And the really good Dejon is playing.
De Silva rebounded by Azubuike, his 8th. Dotson. The Gerald Vick catch shoot hits.
John, that is a big-time find. The Euro step and then looking back to a shooter stepping into a 3. That was big time. This is where Stanford has answered each time. Can they answer this time? 1 possession game. Here's the switch. Well, get it back to Akpala.
Dotson takes it away. Dotson gets fouled. And that's on Dejon Davis.
Now watch this play by Devon Dotson, who is an absolute stud as a freshman. Gets the outlet pass, looks ahead, takes it into the lane, little Euro step, and kicks it back to the open shooter, Gerald Vick. That's a big-time play by Devon Dotson. You know, a lot of guys look, but not everybody sees. And Devon Dotson had a very good idea when he went into the lane exactly where his best shooter would be.
Yeah, found LeGerald Vick, who's starting to heat up from outside. But Devon Dotson from Charlotte. Bill Self praising his toughness to us yesterday. Big-time recruit, number 24 in the ESPN 100.
Played in high school with Grant Williams at Providence Day in Charlotte. Grant Williams, the SEC Player of the Year at Tennessee. Good back cut by Dejon Davis.
Akala, little floater, short. And now it's LeGerald Vick.
Pretty solid job defensively by Marcus Garrett.
Zabuke gets it to go. He has 16.
Defensive possession by Marcus Garrett. That's 2 in a row in guarding KZ Okpala, who's a really good offensive player and an excellent driver. Watch how he moves his feet here, stays in front, and cuts off that drive and forces the walk. Now that's just excellent individual defense guarding the ball by Marcus Garrett.
That is the lead on his resume for Marcus Garrett. Really good defender.
Kansas trying to lift up this Stanford defense and get something going toward the rim.
Vick contested. Didn't matter. Cormac Ryan and Stanford, they call timeout.
Kansas only had 1 assist in that first half. And they have 7 in the second half. And that's the reason. The ball is moving. Players are moving. They are getting paint touches. And Devon Dotson has been in attack mode the last 5 minutes. And as a result, LeGerald Vick has heated up. And now Kansas has taken the lead for the first time in I don't know how long. How long has it been?
It was the 11-16 mark of the first half.
That is remarkable. Stanford has done an amazing job to put Kansas back on its heels throughout the course of this game. And the Jayhawks starting to heat up. And the question is, 11 freshmen and sophomores out of 15 players on the Stanford roster. They've been punched in the mouth down the stretch, and they've lost their lead. How did they respond in the last 5:25 of regulation in Allen Fieldhouse? Not an easy place to win.
It's okay. Everyone loses here. There's a pretty good shirt. All right, Sports Center tonight, Kenny Mayne, Michael Eaves. That's after the Mountain West Championship game. They'll have the highlights, post-game coverage, and reactions from Championship Saturday. Plus, which team just played their way to the college football playoff? It is all coming up. Sports Center tonight after Fresno State, Boise State. LeGerald Vick, a guy who has had an up-and-down career, an up-and-down relationship with Bill Self. I don't think they were entirely sure. In fact, they know they weren't entirely sure he was going to come back. They actually gave his number away. He wore number 2 last year. Charlie Moore transferred. They weren't certain he was coming back to Kansas, so Moore took number 2. But LeGerald Vick has been steady, and he has given them some leadership as a senior.
And he's been one of the hot shooters in the country. He didn't have a very good game to start the season out against Michigan State. I don't think he knocked down a 3, but he's been red hot ever since. Now Devon Dotson got switched off on KZ Okpala.
Cormac Ryan able to put it in. That's a heck of a shot.
Boy, this kid is a good player. 6'5" from New York City. Just has deep range, moves without the ball, but for a guy who's known as a shooter to be able to put it on the deck and make that tough drive to answer that Kansas run, that's big time.
Look at that. Asabuke cleared out space, and Marcus Garrett followed his lead blocker for the dunk. He's got 4. Kansas back on top.
Well, Jared Haas not very happy with his defense to give up a straight line middle drive and an easy dunk.
Ryan way downtown, and that missed the rim. Dotson down. Kansas has made 9 of its last 10. Vic a putback, and he puts it in.
Not the best shot by Charlie Moore, but it all worked out.
LeGerald Vic with 14 this half.
Good.
Sharma. And he gets fouled.
Kansas foul number 35.
Number 2 getting a test here at home against Stanford. It's a 4-point game.
Mac Ryan, the freshman from New York City, with the tough drive, taking some body contact. And then Marcus Garrett with the easy drive to the 10. Kansas by 4. Well, LeGerald Vic has been the story for Kansas in this second half. He scored 2 points in the first half. He has 14 points in the second, 4 of 4 from three-point range in this second half, and has really helped the Jayhawks catch fire down the stretch in the second half. Kansas 56% from the field after really struggling out of the gate in the second half, and Kansas on a 14-3 run the last 4 minutes and 15 seconds.
Well, Jay, you touched on it the first half. Kansas statistically has been a really good three-point shooting team, but it's really been fueled all year by LeGerald Vic. That's been the case here today. He's got all their threes.
Yeah, and I think that Quentin Grimes is going to heat up. He is a very good shooter, and he's going to carry more of a load in that area. Good dribble.
Nice feed, Moore to Lawson, and the bucket. And Dedrick Lawson is 21.
Boy, what a terrific move by Charlie Moore. Almost got the switch, wound up crossing over with a little hesitation, and then just had a little wraparound pass. That was beautiful. Now Akpala being guarded by Moore.
To the corner, Akpala got it.
Boy, that was a good find by Isaac White, because there was no way that Charlie Moore should be able to guard KZ Akpala, and Stanford took advantage of it. Stanford switching out on the perimeter. And Moore was lucky. That could have been an offensive foul.
That one out of bounds. It'll stay with Kansas.
Isaac White used a little, it's almost like a Steve Nash dribble here. Watch as he gets it. Instead of picking it up right there, he just takes it down under the basket and is able to look across court to the opposite corner. Little baseline drive, kind of baseline drift idea. There's the flex cut. Off the out of bounds. They got something good early in the game off that.
Sharma contesting the shot from Lawson. And it's Cormac Ryan leading Stanford into the front court. They can take the lead with a 3.
And that was Lawson again, not being able to elevate to get over Sharma.
Isaac White, and they take the lead with a 3.
John, you cannot help ball side off a corner shooter. And on that possession, Kansas helped off Isaac White for what? To keep him from taking a tough 2? And they opened up an open 3 for a guy who has been hot as all get out on catch and shoot opportunities, Isaac White.
First points of the half for Isaac White, who's got 15. Lawson inside, and he's fouled.
Now take a look at LeGerald Vic and Isaac White in the corner. Now on this drive, instead of making Stanford take a tough 2, LeGerald Vic helps off, and you're caught in no man's land. You're doing no help on the drive, and you're leaving a wide open shooter ball side corner. I mean, you can never help off a ball side corner shooter, ever.
Yeah, it's funny. This is something we talked about yesterday, is just the idea that in that spot, if you're coming to help, what exactly are you accomplishing there when it's already a difficult 2, is your point?
Make the guy make the tough 2. He's already going toward the baseline, and he's going to have to launch up a difficult 2 over the outstretched arms of a defender. And as long as you don't foul, I mean, what can you ask of your defense more than that? Instead of, you come off, you're not doing anything to help on the drive. And it sounds like I'm beating up on LeGerald Vick. I'm not. I'm just beating up on the idea of coming off a corner shooter, because you see it all the time in college. You never see it in the NBA. And I think most college coaches are side corner shooters.
By the way, Josh Sharma fouls out, 8 points, a couple of rebounds, and 3 blocks.
Well, he had a really good game.
He did.
He did an excellent job. And having him out of the game the last 2:10 of regulation means that Kansas is going to be able to attack the rim and get the ball inside without quite as much resistance, because this is not it is not a big team. They've got some length, but it's not big.
Great job by Davis, wandering inside, gets the bucket, and they lead by a point. That's a dozen for Dejon Davis.
De Silva with the foul, the discard on Dedrick Lawson, so Lawson will go to the line. But on Dejon Davis to Stanford, this has been the best game I've ever seen him play. I mean, he was supposed to go to Washington. He had committed to the University of Washington to Lorenzo Romar. When Romar got fired, he wound up leaving and committing to Stanford. He's best friends with Jalen Noel. He's part of a recruiting class that included Michael Porter Jr., who also left when Romar got fired and wound up in Missouri.
He started every game of his career. Talking about Davis, and again, a top 60 recruit. Lawson too strong with that. We're tied at 71. A minute 40 to go. John Shambi, Jay Billis here at Allen Fieldhouse in Lawrence, Kansas. The #2 team in the country getting quite a fight.
I don't think you can leave Cormac Ryan right now.
De Silva and Lawson fouled him hard.
He did foul him hard. I think Jared Haas is saying, hey, is that flagrant? You ought to take a look at it just to see if there was anything near the head where they could get lucky and then they are going to go look at it. Was this excessive and unnecessary? He did get hit in the head. There is there's a very good chance this is going to be a flagrant one. Because Lawson was swinging down, it's really a new point of emphasis on flagrant fouls. Because he was swinging down, I think there's a chance that this could be called a flagrant, and it's 2 shots in the ball for Stanford. That would be a big call, but I think there's a very good chance that that's what the call is going to be.
What do you think the call should be?
I think it was just a hard foul, but there's a sensitivity to anything that's a blow to the head. I think it was just a basketball play and a hard foul. But because the argument could be made that he was swinging down at the player.
Yeah, he swung at the ball and missed it.
They're giving it flagrant 1, 2 shots in the ball. And Bill Self just went right down to his knees when he heard that.
Kip Kissinger's going to come over and, yep, said.
And it is not the wrong call. I don't like it, but it's not the official's fault. This is what the rule says, and it's what they're being told to call. And if they don't call it, they're going to hear from their bosses. And, the officials don't write the rules. They just call the game according to the rules. A year ago, this would not have been a flagrant one. Right now it is.
These are De Silva's first free throws of the day, and he gets the first. The sophomore from Germany, just 5 points. It's been a cold start to the season. Shooting from the outside for Oscar De Silva. He makes both free throws, however, gives Stanford a 2-point lead, and they get the ball, as you mentioned.
And this is a huge possession in this game. To be able to come out essentially with 2 scores on 1 possession is a major development.
Akala with Garrett on him. Akala. That one was halfway down, and Lawson grabs the rebound. It's 13th. Moore gets inside, and he's fouled.
Well defended by Marcus Garrett. Marcus Garrett stayed in front of KZ Okpala, was prepared for him to spin back, and forced him to finish the play. And he wasn't able to do it. He didn't foul. Look how he moves his feet. Cuts off the drive, sits on the spin, and just makes him finish it. Now, from Stanford's perspective, he should have finished it, but that was excellent defense on the part of Marcus Garrett.
Charlie Moore, with just under a minute to go, missing the first. Been a rough day from the line. Kansas 13 to 20 from the stripe.
Stanford's got to be ready for full court pressure here.
And here it comes.
Right now, Stanford can't take the air out of the ball. They still have to attack.
A one-point game here at Allen Fieldhouse. Davis spinning, short, tip out. And timeout Stanford. Big offensive rebound. And how about that? The Cardinal with the miss, but the rebound. Jay Billis, this team has gotten punched in the nose a number of times today, and they have hung in there.
Well, Stanford's always had an answer, and part of the reason they've done so well has been the play of Dejon Davis. He knocked that ball back out. He couldn't grab it himself, but was able to tip it back out to a teammate. And Davis has had a terrific game. A terrific game. You know, last year Dejon Davis had 160 assists. That broke Brevin Knight's freshman record at Stanford, but he also had like 132 turnovers, something like that. And this year he's had his ups and downs again, but he has been very efficient and very good in a difficult environment in which to play. And I credit Stanford's lead here in large measure to the play, steady play of Dejon Davis at the point guard position.
Well, I think one of the things that jumps out to me, and again, it's intangible, but any of those little runs that Kansas made when the crowd really got going, Jared Hass never called timeout to respond to it, to stop the crowd, to stop the run. He just let them play.
Well, he's letting his team grow up, too.
Got a 9-second differential. Shot clock, game clock. Stanford by a point. Dejon Davis.
Just don't want to give up an open three. Even if Stanford scores, it's still a one-possession game.
Davis inside, blocked, and they get the foul. They get Dedrick Lawson with his fourth.
Every time Stanford drives, they are spinning back. And Kansas needs to be aware of that, and have been for the most part. But they got the switch and got Lawson. No question that was a foul. He brought his arms down. He may have got the ball at the top, but anytime you bring your arms down, I don't see how that could be called anything but a foul.
Davis today 3 for 3 from the line. He's got 12 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists.
Now, even if he makes this, it is still just a one-possession game. And that doesn't mean that Kansas has to have a three. There's still 13.3 seconds left in regulation. You get that ball down court quickly, get it to the rim, and then be in the exact same position you were in a few seconds ago.
Got them both. Huge. The lead is 3. Here's Dotson. Give off. Vic off balance. Wow. Davis up ahead. Davis step back for the win. And we're headed to overtime. How did LeGerald Vic get that shot to go? Really impressive.
You think it's difficult to win in this building? Down 3, 13 seconds. A little weave. You go underneath. And LeGerald Vic nails the game-tying 3. Watch how the defender goes underneath Dotson. That gives him just enough space to get that shot off. And then when Stanford brings it the other way, Dejon Davis settles for a jumper instead of getting to the rim, and we've got overtime.
We've got an extra 5 minutes here in Lawrence. Right now, though, we send it back to the studio. What's up, Standfrd? Well, Kansas going to overtime for the second straight game. And the fans here at Allen Fieldhouse absolutely loving it. 75 apiece. Credit to Stanford. They've taken a number of tough punches here today. They've hung in. Dejon Davis and company growing up before our very eyes. 11 of their 15 freshmen or sophomores. And right now, Stanford, 5 more minutes on the road. Les Miles, the new coach, his first time in this building. New head football coach at Kansas, getting a chance to enjoy this one. And Latrell Vick urging on the crowd. Vick with 17 points this half, including the 3 that sent it to overtime. As Abuke was trying to tip it to Lawson, but it was Cormac Ryan that tracked it down.
Yeah, Ryan just quicker and was able to outrace Dedrick Lawson to the ball. If I'm Stanford, I'm attacking Dedrick Lawson every opportunity I get.
Shot off the mark. Azubuike, the rebound. De Silva just can't buy one.
Well, Azubuike's done a great job of staying in this game. Kansas looking for the lob, didn't get it.
They get Lagerald Vick. Oh my goodness, he's got 22, 20 of them in the second half, or since the break.
Who's hotter than Lagerald Vick? Kevin Durant?
Davis with the ball back. Davis flips it up. Stand back inside. Loses the handle, and Lawson will give off to Dotson.
Right now, I think Kansas wants to look either inside or keep looking to Vick. Switched out. De Silva's got him now. And Cormac Ryan's on Dedrick Lawson. I think you got to get into. Now they switch back.
Dotson
Bad
way
shot.
off.
Bad shot. It's not a good possession for Kansas. They weren't able to take advantage of the switch. And then when Stanford was able to switch back, they settled for something they could get anytime. Stanford running its continuity where they back cut, ball screen.
Good hands, Garrett.
He is such a good defender, John. That was a big-time play.
Vick turns the corner. And the throwdown, Lagerald Vick. Kansas by 5. And Vick has been sensational in the second half and overtime. Offensive foul.
Marcus Garrett has been an impact player on the defensive end. Closes out to a terrific shooter and then gets his hands up, knocks the ball away, deflects it, and then Lagerald Vick just blows by on the baseline side. Trevor Stanback can't get there in time. Not only threes, but a big dunk. Boy, Lagerald Vick has been awesome in the second half.
He's got their last 8 points. Make it their last 11. Is that a 2 or a 3?
If I were Kansas, I'd offer him number 2 back if he wants it. He can have anything he wants. You want number 2 back?
Stanford called timeout. No, they did not. I beg your pardon.
Yeah, they're just looking 2 or 3. They give it a 3? Nine of 11 in the second half. How did he miss 2 shots? None bigger than that shot with just under 10 seconds to go in regulation. That 3 off the handoff. That was amazing.
Akpala fouled.
That's it for Lawson.
Lawson, his 5th. He is done with 2:14 to go.
So that's one where you kind of have to I don't want to say you have to let him go, but you just can't foul there.
He finishes with 24 points and 15 rebounds, fresh off the 24-point, 13-rebound performance in the NIT season tip-off championship against Tennessee.
So his last 3 games, Dedrick Lawson is averaging 24 points, 14 rebounds, and almost 5 assists. That's just remarkable play.
He showed off his skills all afternoon near the basket. They go small, and Charlie Moore will check in for the big guy, Lawson. Akpala hits the free throw.
I think Udoka Azubuike would differ with us when they say we've gone small. I think he would say, when I'm on the floor, we are big.
I have no counter argument to that. Azubuike, by the way, has 4 fouls as well. Sharma has fouled out. And a reminder, the Mountain West Football Championship kicked off about 7 minutes away, so it comes up right at the conclusion of our game.
Kansas, even though they want to attack, great pass.
When they've run that action today, I feel like they've gotten a lob or a good shot 75% of the time.
Well, in the second half, they didn't get anything in the first half.
Yep.
In the first half, Kansas was almost asleep. Akpala stepped out of bounds on the sideline.
18 turnovers on Stanford.
Just a slip with what was expected to be a ball screen in the weave. Just slipped it when Trevor Stanback got on the top end of him.
Azubuike with 18 in the game, 14 in the second half and overtime. Vic looking for space. Garrett, shot clock winding down, he traveled.
All he needed to do when Marcus Garrett caught that ball, just look inside to Azubuike, because he had pinned Oscar da Silva right under the bucket. It was a simple pass inside and a bucket.
Stanford does not have a field goal in overtime. Davis flips it up and rolls it home. Dejon Davis with 16.
1 minute remaining.
Stanford's going to have to think about whether they want to foul here. They're going to play this out. 15 seconds left on the shot clock. That's going to put them pretty deep into this clock.
Dotson. And let's see who they get the foul on here.
On Akpala.
It'll be on Akpala, his 3rd.
Boy, that's a bad foul. I mean, when you decide you're going to play this out, you cannot foul at the end of the clock. And that gives a good free throw shooter 2 cracks at it, and then you're going to be 3 possessions down. You know, that's a risk to take without, you know, if you foul at the beginning, it's a risk too. But now you've done the same thing and took time off the clock.
It's 2 shots here, so there was action in that spot, but regardless, Dotson will get a chance at a second. Kansas by 6, 40.8 to go in overtime. John Chomby and Jay Billis here at Allen Fieldhouse. Stanford, a really impressive effort here today.
One thing that Kansas cannot do here is come off of 3-point shooters.
Davis will try. Davis hits.
What a big-time shot by Dejon Davis. Well, he has had a very good game for Stanford. And this has to make the Cardinal, the young Cardinal, feel really good about their chances in Pac-12 play. That Jared has, I mean, that was defended. You know, LeGerald Vick was right there. But Jared has been saying, we're going to be good. You know, we don't know if it's going to be next year, next month, next week. Turned out it was today. And Stanford has shown a lot of chops in this game that they can be a good team this year.
Well, there's talent. I think the other thing, I think your point in terms of, you talk about size, it's two ways. It's the length for sure, right, but the beef. And factually, there just is a deficit in terms of matching up with Kansas. I don't feel like it stopped them today in terms of banging, being physical, and putting their nose in there.
Well, mostly thanks to Josh Sharma when he was in there. Sharma, who does have a little bit of bulk to him as a senior, was a difference maker on both ends of the floor. Without him playing as well as he played, and he did not play that well when they played at North Carolina, did not play as well against Florida. Well, today against Kansas, he did.
Garrett gets it in, they foul Moore, and he'll march down to the other end and shoot a couple of free throws. 27.2 to go, 4-point game. Cormac Ryan with 4 fouls.
Ryan's going to be he's a good player now as a freshman. He's going to be really good. I mentioned this when I saw him play at North Carolina. He's got a little bit of Kirk Heinrich in him. That's probably blasphemy around here to compare anybody in another uniform to Kirk Heinrich.
Right. Yep.
I may have a tough time getting out of here.
Well, you probably will regardless.
Just on principle?
Just principle. Well, Bill Self as well. I mean, again, I'm sure there are a lot of parts of this game that he did not like, but even still in the early season, his team has gotten a test and responded, and his top player, or at least one of his 2 top players, LeGerald Vick, in the second half, spectacular.
I think the thing that Bill Self is going to take from this is his team's got fight, and they'll compete, and they're not going to quit. And they're doing this without some of their better players playing well. Like Quentin Grimes, even though he's just a freshman, it needs to play better for Kansas to be a top-ranked team. And Grimes has not shot the ball well. He's been struggling. I think Bill used the term, he's been mentally paralyzed of late. And he needs to see the ball go in the basket. He shot it really well yesterday in practice. He had a great practice, and he's not been practicing as well. But when Quentin Grimes starts playing to his level, and his level is a high one, Kansas shoots way up.
Apollo looking for space, banks it in.
There's still time left in this game.
And they fouled Dotson, 14.4 to go.
That's why even when you're down 3 possessions, you don't want to settle for a jump shot. When you can get the ball to the rim, you might get fouled and stop the clock, but you want to get an easy score, set up your defense, and then you can go for a steal, get fouled, but really put some game pressure. Like right now, Devon Dotson has pressure on him to make these free throws.
And he's 2 for 5 from the stripe here today.
Well, this young man has got chops. That game, he played a terrific game against Tennessee in the Barclays Center the day after Thanksgiving and showed some real toughness. He was put into the stanchion, made the bucket, and then stepped up and completed the 3-point play. When he had cobwebs, you could tell.
Vick almost with a steal. Got to get something off. Ryan. That one was way off. Dotson fighting for it. Davis now. And that'll do it in overtime. Number 2 Kansas escapes 90-84. They beat Stanford. For Jay Billis and our entire outstanding crew, I'm John Chomby saying so long from Lawrence, Kansas. Good one here. Stanford wins it. Let's send it out. Steve Levy, Brian Greasy, and Todd McShay, the Mountain West Championship.